He spent his whole life building a future for his son, but forgot to be part of his present until it was almost too late. The hospital room smelled faintly of antiseptic and quiet regret, a place where time seemed to slow down just enough to make every mistake feel heavier and every memory sharper. Machines hummed in a soft, steady rhythm as 12-year-old Ethan lay on the narrow bed, his small body fragile beneath the white sheets, his hand wrapped in tubes, his breathing uneven yet determined. His tired eyes remained fixed on the doorway, blinking slowly, as if holding on to the last thread of hope that someone, one person, would walk in. For years, his father, Michael, had been nothing more than a distant presence in his life, a voice on the phone, a promise of soon, a shadow that never stayed long enough to become real. Michael had convinced himself that the late nights, the endless meetings, the constant chase for success were all for Ethan, that one day his son would understand why he wasn't there. But that one day never came. He missed Ethan's first steps into school, his trembling voice in school plays, his birthdays where candles were blown out without him, and the quiet nights when Ethan would sit by the window, hugging his knees, staring at the empty street with innocent hope glowing in his eyes. Maybe today, he would whisper to himself, waiting for the sound of a car that rarely came. Slowly that hope faded into silence, and the boy who once waited stopped expecting anything at all. And now, as the faint beeping of the heart monitor filled the cold room, Michael finally stood at the door, unable to move, as if the weight of every missed moment had turned his feet to stone. The doctor's words echoed endlessly in his mind. "You should be with your son now." A sentence that shattered the illusion of time he thought he still had. His hair was unkempt, his expensive suit wrinkled and meaningless, his face pale, and his eyes swollen from sleepless nights and tears he could no longer hide. Slowly he stepped forward, each step trembling with fear and regret, afraid that if he blinked, this moment, this last chance would disappear forever. Ethan turned his head slightly, his vision blurred, but when he saw his father standing there, something inside him lit up again. A weak but genuine smile touched his lips. "Dad, you came." Those three simple words broke Michael completely. He dropped to his knees beside the bed, grabbing Ethan's fragile hand as if it were the only thing anchoring him to reality. Tears poured down his face, and his voice cracked under the weight of guilt. "I'm so sorry, buddy. I thought I was building a better life for you, but I forgot to be part of your life. I missed everything, and I can't fix it now." Ethan's fingers moved slightly, squeezing his father's hand with what little strength he had left. "It's okay. You're here now," he whispered, his voice soft, but filled with a love that had never once faded, despite everything. Michael bowed his head, pressing Ethan's hand against his forehead, crying like a man who had finally realized that success meant nothing without the people you love. Memories flooded his mind, empty seats, unanswered calls, unopened storybooks, and each one felt like a silent apology he would never get to say. "If I could go back," he choked, "I would choose you every single time. No deals, no money, no success, just you." Ethan's breathing grew slower, more fragile, but his eyes stayed locked on his father, as if this was all he had ever wanted. Not gifts, not promises, just presence. "Promise me, you won't forget me," Ethan whispered faintly. Michael shook his head immediately, gripping his hand tighter, as if refusing to let go would somehow stop time. "Never. You are my heart, Ethan. You always have been, and you always will be." The machines continued their rhythm, but now every beep felt uncertain, like a fading echo in a quiet world. Michael leaned closer, resting his forehead against Ethan, holding him as if love alone could keep him there, whispering softly, "I'm here. I'm right here." And in that fragile moment, nothing else existed. No past, no future, no regrets that could be fixed. Only a father and his son, finally together, finally whole, even as time slowly slipped through their fingers. As the silence between each beep grew longer, Michael realized the most painful truth of all, that the moments we think we can return to later are often the ones we lose forever, and sometimes, by the time we understand their value, all we're left with is regret, memories, and a love that arrived just a little too late.